Hi there, and welcome to my presentation on notational analysis. So, what is notational analysis? It is most commonly used in sport. An example of how it can be used is in basketball. Notational analysis is used to be able to measure stats. This will consist of someone, like in the pictures I've used, marking down a certain player or team stats, measuring things like points scored, shots missed, rebounds and blocks, etc. You can also measure their movements. The performance criteria can vary across different sports. The examples I have given are used in basketball, but if you were to do it in a different sport such as football, then the performance criteria will be different. It will be something along the lines of tackles, goals, free kicks won, left or right foot passes, etc. Point is that the performance criteria changes depending on the sport you are analysing. The data in the performance criteria can also vary depending on position. For example, a point guard is going to be expected to shoot more three-pointers than a centre because of the roles of their position. Therefore, when it comes to looking at the data, the 3 points attempted and scored are usually expected to be higher with the point guard than the centre. Going back to being able to track player movements, after a player's movements has been read, it can be used to find out other facts, such as the distance they have run in that game. Then you can use this information to find the average distance they have run in the past 5 games, for example. After they have these stats, they can be monitored and altered depending on if the manager, coach or player is unhappy. An example of this is if the player or manager feels that the player has not run far enough in that game, and that is the reason they might have lost or conceded, then the player will be conscious in the next game that they will have to run more in order to achieve the goal. So the specific performance criteria I've used for basketball is in the power forward position, and performance criteria I think would be good for a power forward are offensive rebound, defensive rebound, blocks, 2 pointers attempted and 2 pointers made. I've chosen this because I know the job of a power forward should be to get rebounds, blocks and then shoot some 2 pointers sometimes too. The reason these criteria are important for a power forward is because they are meant to be the big men, what are known as big men, alongside the centre in the front court. Their job is to stay inside the paint and get the rebounds of the shots that the backcourt players take. If they miss, then again, if the backcourt players cannot get a good shot open, then they have the option to feed the ball into the power forward and the centre into the post, so they can try for 2 pointers. This would mean that I would expect this of the 2 performers to get at least one of all these things. The 2 performers being the people I'm going to analyse now. So the offensive rebounds with the 2 performers that we've measured is Charlie Inkpen and Aaron. On the offensive rebound you can see that they've just got 1 each. They're equal there. On the defensive rebound, Charlie has 1 and Aaron has none, so it's 1 more than Aaron. Blocks, Charlie has 2 blocks to Aaron's 1 block. And the 2 points attempted, Aaron has 5 attempted and Charlie only has 2. And then the 2 pointers made, Aaron made all of his, so he's got 5, and Charlie just made 1, so he's got 1 of the 2 attempted. So the methods of notational analysis, as you can see in the pictures, this is me taking the notational analysis, someone at a basketball game doing it in the major league, and then this is my movement pattern in the game that we played. There are different methods of notational analysis. As you can see in the pictures I've shown, you can see the 2 types. I have shown that one of them is that you look at a screen of the game and make notes of one player of their stats. You can also actually go to the game itself and watch the player too. However, this can have some disadvantages because you may be looking down at the paper making notes of the stats, and then you might miss the player you are meant to be watching do something that you are meant to mark down, which leads me on to the advantages and disadvantages of notational analysis. So one advantage of notational analysis is that it means players can watch for feedback when they are playing, so they can watch the game recording and see what they've done, if they were in the right position, if they were in the wrong position, and improve and alter their game. Another advantage is that we can use software to be able to slow down footage, look at it with more precision, and find angles and things like that. It makes it easier to analyse more performance criteria, not just scoring. So, for example, you can really get into depth with analysing, say, blocks, rebounds, steals. You can get more up close and slow it down and see if it was a steal or a block, or etc. So yeah, it's easier watching it through a clip to be able to see if it was a block or a steal. However, there are some disadvantages. For example, the software used to record and slow down, etc., can be quite expensive sometimes, making it inaccessible to some people. It can also depend on the skills of the observer. So, for example, if you've got someone watching who doesn't know what a rebound is in basketball, then the person they're watching, they might get rebounds, but the guy watching is not going to know that that's what it was, so he won't mark it down, so he wouldn't have got on the sheet, on the stats, any rebounds. There can also be some ambiguity. My reason for saying this is that say if a player takes 5 shots and makes 2 of their field goal, and makes 2, their field goal percentage is going to be 40%. But if another player just takes 1 shot and makes that 1 shot, then their field goal percentage is going to be 100%, which looks very good on paper. So even though the other player took more shots and made more shots than them, they still had a lower shot percentage because they missed more of the ones they took compared to the person who just took 1 shot and made that 1 shot, gives them 100% percentage of the field goal. So here is my performance analysis to show that I have collected the data from both the players, Aaron and Charlie. And that is it. Thank you for watching.